The New York Giants defense was one of the best last season. By all rankings, they were easily a top 3 defensive unit and were stout against the run and against the pass. For this breakdown, I wanted to explain their scheme and what makes them so good. The Giants defense has its roots in the 4-3 over front. What this means is that their 3-technique defensive tackle, or the defender who lines up on the outside shoulder of the guard, does this on the strong side of the formation. In this alignment, he is usually responsible for the strong side B gap and run support. Now, if he did this on the weak side, this would be called an underfront, and you would then be responsible for the weak side B gap. For the Giants, Jonathan Hankins played this role last year. He left for the Colts this offseason, but it seems like newly drafted Dalvin Tomlinson might take over the spot. Sharing the interior role in the defense, the Giants usually line up their nose tackle off the weak side shoulder of the center. In this role is usually Damon Harrison. Snacks, as he's commonly known, is an excellent run stuffer and uses hands well to stack blockers like he showed here versus the Lions. Also, he takes on double teams, and this allows the pass rushers on the edge to have one-on-one matchups. Typically, the 4-3 defense is made up of one-gapping players. Some defenses, like the Seahawks for example, like to mix in 2 gapping principles depending on their personnel. One gapping is far more aggressive, where you try to penetrate based on timing the snap of the ball. In 2 gapping, the defender will watch the blocker and react to when they move after the snap. This is much more conservative and is often better for larger, run-stuffing defenders who aren't as good at penetrating. In the second level, a 4-3 over usually has 3 linebackers aligned over their assigned gap. In this play, the Cowboys motion the running back outside, so the linebackers have to readjust. The Mike linebacker, or number 91 in this case, will line up stacked behind the strong side 3-tech. The Cowboys attempted to run a pin-pull zone stretch where the left tackle down blocked while the left guard pulled around him to get to the second level. Olivier Vernon did a great job of sealing the edge and helped stop the running back from getting outside. Here's a great example of Jonathan Casillas recognizing the play as a weak side linebacker. After his assigned gap pulled across the formation, he chased and got in front of the backside guard. The Lions are running a counter toss here, so it's crucial the edge defenders maintain their gaps. They do a fantastic job of doing that and allow the interior defenders to clean up the play. When the Giants aren't using their 4-3 over front, they use a 4-3 under front. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but pay close attention to the alignment of the 3-tech defensive tackle. This is your giveaway, and he's on the weak side of the formation. The Giants use this formation many times when the offense has 12 personnel or 2 tight ends on the field. This is not exclusive, and they definitely run the 4-3 over versus this personnel group, but it just depends on their game plan. In this play, the Lions are running duo. They attempt to use double combination blocks to move the defensive line. They gain no ground, and the Giants defense does a great job of finishing up the play and taking down the running back for a minimal gain. In pass rush, when the team is not in their typical over or sometimes under alignments, they use a NASCAR package. What this means is that they'll bring on 3 or 4 defensive ends onto the field at once. They'll remove their interior defensive linemen, and then will blitz, run stunts, and will try to use confusion to penetrate the offensive line. Versus the Cowboys in Week 14, the Giants uses Fire Zone Blitz. For those that don't know, the Fire Zone Blitz is a disguised pressure where they have a disciplined zone coverage rotation to show quarterback an open receiver and then quickly rotate towards that receiver to take away the play. While an opening may appear, the general idea is to slow down the quarterback from recognizing it in order to land your pass rush. That's what happens here as Colin blitzes between the right tackle and the right guard, landing hit on the quarterback. As you can see in the all-22 angle, 2 defenders near the line of scrimmage jump into zones surrounding the slot receiver. This forces the quarterback to make his way to his backside read before the pass rush arrives. This obviously doesn't happen, and the Giants force an incompletion on 3rd down. Now, a veteran quarterback might have noticed that Collins was staring to the backfield. Typically, if you're playing man coverage, you keep your eyes on your receiver. Instead, he looked into the backfield, giving away that he was blitzing. Now, this is just one of the Giants' designed blitzes in order to create pressure, and they have many more, but before we move on, I want you to notice the personnel on the field. Only Jay Bromley is an interior defensive lineman. They put Devin Kennard, who is a strong side linebacker, on the line of scrimmage to pass rush. Simply put, the variety of personnel and the alignments can certainly get tricky for offenses. Later in the same game, they use a similar alignment, but this time Prescott is able to connect on his throw. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, while they made the catch, they didn't convert the first down. The pressure and the defense by the Giants was so good in this game that they only converted on 1 of 15 third down attempts. Now, so far in this video, I haven't really discussed the Giants secondary. They typically run a lot of cover 2 pattern match, and they also play a decent bit of man coverage. In this play, Janoris Jenkins followed Des Bryant to the slot and stuck to his hip in man coverage. Bryant ran his crossing route and could not get any separation over the middle of the field. This is a very hard route to cover, and Jenkins does it well. Overall, one of the big reasons why the Giants defense is so good is because there's little consistency in formations. In addition to their standard alignments, they sometimes use bare fronts, just like in this play where the Cowboys run a screen pass. The variety and the unpredictability makes it very difficult for offenses to plan. Even in their base packages, the Giants have so much talent in their defense that they can run almost any coverage successfully. Well, that's it for this video. In my next one, I'm going to look at Paul Richardson and see if he can make the jump and develop as a legitimate wide receiver for the Seahawks. He had a really good run into the playoffs and made some really spectacular catches. As always, you can donate to this channel through my Patreon account, and that's actually where the suggestion came from this video, so if you want your topic explored, go ahead and follow that link. You can also find me on Twitter at SamyarGold for my latest updates.